being able to tweet again. How about that? But, you know, I think the big thing was it wasn't that he did it, and that surprised a lot of people, but it was how he did it that made so many people upset.
It was unbelievable. And then it's just the way that he did it. And I think the way that he did it, it puts more emphasis on how dysfunctional this organization is. It's just the way that he did it. And I think the way that he did it, it puts more emphasis on how dysfunctional this organization is.
You don't have Big Shot dressing you?
I mean, talk about train wrecks, what's happened there, of course, this year. And then, like, I have no control over the...
Not only do they have stylists, but the stylists not only buy and choose their clothes, but they tell them when to... You wore it, own it.
Yeah.
Own it. You wore it, own it.
No.
He wants to have it both ways. Send the message and not own it.
Yep, and clearly he did. Well, coming up, NFL hopefuls deleting tweets. Now you know the draft is around the corner. And, by the way, the pitfalls of scoring goals with...
You wore it, own it.
Yeah.
Own it. You wore it, own it.
No.
He wants to have it both ways. Send the message and not own it.
Yep, and clearly he did. Well, coming up, NFL hopefuls deleting tweets. Now you know the draft is around the corner. And, by the way, the pitfalls of scoring goals with...
I just think human beings that put somebody out of a job, a little bat boy who could have, put some internship hours into that ball club, is now losing out.
I like human error.
I hope we don't have any more dogs in this show.
You know what? There are.
There are.
Dianna. By the way, it's time for Diana's hero, Dianna. And that hero is Larry Bird. And, because Katie Lou Samuelson loves him, she was just drafted 4th by the Chicago Sky. And when she was drafted, they played this video for her. She wears his number to honor him.
40 years ago this week.
What's that?
He did Magic 40 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Doing that race next year.
You are?
Yeah, I'm doing the
Yeah,
marathon.
you won't beat
You
him.
didn't even walk to the studio with that. We got a breath.
With cactus.
By the way, before we go, want to say congratulations to one of our own.
Coming up,
Respectfully,
the NCAA Women's Final Four gets underway tonight, and a baseball pitcher is doing a whole lot more than you know.
With the opportunity with him being a second-round pick and entering into the last year of his contract to potentially add to his value, particularly with the fact that they're asking him to probably take more snaps on the outside as opposed to the inside. Now, when you look at his contract averaging at $10 million a year, he's able to get more than some of the slot receivers this year got in terms of Adam Humphries, Jamison Crowder, Cole Beasley, who got between 7 and 9, so his deal averaging more than them.
And not Mike McCarthy.
I agree. And to Teddy's point, controlling the narrative. That's what Coach Belichick did so great for you guys in New England. We'll know the real story. But Aaron's going to attack this thing because he's going to want to put this to bed.
Yeah, I actually think this is an early opportunity for LaFleur to build his relationship with Aaron Rodgers.
City hurts, or hits, or when when they potentially have, a 0-3 start, or is it going to be 3-0 start, or what have you. So that's when we're really going to see everything that I heard from Devon. The question is it really the forum to do it publicly or behind the scenes?
Well, you talk about during the season, and let me spin it forward to a little bit like this.
Interesting.
Matt LaFleur is a young new head coach. He needs his team to buy in, and there's no better way to get them to buy in than to get that quarterback to get him to buy in from the start. Coming up, speaking of...
The detail that has to go into their craft moving forward.
And it's fast. It's not like it's slowing down, Jim. It speeds up in a hurry.
No, at the quarterback position, obviously the speed of the game at all positions is going to increase. But at the quarterback position, like you talked about taking the quarterback center exchange.
The expectation has grown since they were able to, do that. And then now you're talking about social media. pro day where no one's in front of you, or the combine where you're just in your underwear. It's Von Miller and Aaron Donald chomping down in your face as well. So there's just so much more with that, too.
And I think coaches now, the smart coaches, okay, now you get your hands on a quarterback and you'll know what he was comfortable with and running in college and saying, okay, what do I
17, how much you're also assessing that person to really be the face of the franchise. It's not just the board work and obviously how you diagnose plays, but you're really looking at that person to be, can they really handle the pressure of this city or what have you? And it's just something that I've heard over and over again.
Take a guy, and there it is, of his size again, because that question does come up, as talented as he is, at the #1 spot.
To work out with the team today. Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, join us. We'll be talking about this. How many days do we have? 20? Do you know right off the top of your head?
They're not sure. These guys aren't sure when the draft is.
They're hazy on that draft.
In the film room. They barely get out.
All right, listen, there's a reason for this, Mel, and I'll start with you. Do you continue to believe, and I know he's at the top of your mock draft, both of you, that he will land in Arizona? And by he, I mean Kyler Murray.
I've said on the story there, he didn't draft him. It's not a case where Kingsbury comes in and says, now I have to move 10 to 12 eventually as the #1 overall pick for a team that used the 10th pick and traded up to go get a quarterback last year.
Well, so much so that, by the way, no first-round quarterback has ever played only a single season with the original team that drafted him. So, you know, we can say, oh, this is different. This is different. This will be a first if, in fact, Kyler Murray ends up in Arizona. Then what do you do? Well, you know what you do. But then what's the upside for Josh Rosen?
Well, we like Josh Rosen coming out. But my point is that the best thing might be for teams that maybe...
It's really the perfect storm for something like this to happen. Mel alluded to it with the change. I've seen him do it in the NFL. Because as much as we can sit and look at these college quarterbacks and say, I think he's going to be really good, there is actually video evidence of Josh Rosen making some really difficult... I think there's also that element, too.
I think it's possible, too, and I would assert that nobody wants to end up in this position. Josh Rosen probably doesn't like it. He probably doesn't like all this talk, but he very well may end up in a much better situation for the longevity of his career. And I think if you're Josh Rosen at this point, that's what you're hoping for. Yes.
Get your head down and work, man.
Get your head down and work. All right, do we have Pedro? Pedro? No, we don't have Pedro, but we might soon. All right, press coverage now from our Cardinals reporter, Josh Weinfuss, who said David Johnson was asked what he'll think if the Cardinals...
Term like that, it's easy to say.
Okay, all right, ready? Here we go. Bend and snap. That one. Okay,
right, there we go.
How about dancing bear?
You know, the dancing bear is Khalil Mack after a sack. That's the only dancing bear.
Well, there we go. There we go. All right, that is your term, not a scouting term.
At least I was like the Grateful Dead, and he went with Elwood.
Was that all of them? Did I win?
Elwoods. We're done, El. Stand by. Antonio.